My next tip to help with increasing productivity is get off your damn phone. You see this thing, yeah? This thing, oh my gosh. When I say this is like the peak of my procrastination, because a lot of the time, you know, when you don't really want to do something or you've got something to do and you'll just find yourself picking up your phone and just scrolling aimlessly. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for being here. And for those of you who are already subscribed and have been keeping up with my content, God will bless you. Thank you for watching my video. And if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button. So today I wanted to talk about some top tips that I have to help increase your productivity. Now, this is something that when I say struggled, I don't even think there's a word in the English dictionary to describe my battle with productivity. And it's not necessarily always just like productivity in regards to work, but just like day-to-day life, like, you know, getting things done and getting the things done that you set out to do. And I have many moments of procrastination. I have moments of just pure laziness, moments of just demotivation. And it's really, really hard sometimes to kind of pick yourself up from that and kind of keep that productivity consistent. But I realized over time, like just adopting some really simple kind of changes to my lifestyle, simple things have really, really, really helped in keeping my productivity levels consistent. And what I find as well is like the more productive you are, it's kind of like a sense of fulfillment. It kind of pours back into that energy and you feel more fulfilled and you continue to be more productive because you feel good every time you've had like a productive streak. Yeah, so I have like just thought that I just wanted to share some just some tips that have worked for me personally. Everyone's different, so there might be other things that people want to try. Let me know the kind of things that you guys do as well to help increase your productivity. I thought it would be a really good idea to do this video because I know that working from home has been a huge struggle for a lot of us, especially me. I struggle with that. There's not that split between work and home anymore. You know, usually you'd go to work and then you could be like, oh, okay, I'm done for the day and I can go home and I can relax and not think about work. But I can't really do that now because home is work. So there's not that split, do you know what I mean? And I think that can be quite hard, and I think it can really take its toll on your overall like mental health and your productivity levels and your energy, and it can just be like quite draining. So I found that doing a few simple things have really helped kind of change my overall mindset and attitude to working from home in general. And I thought it would just be good to share. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first tip that I would give to try to help increase your productivity is having a really good morning and nighttime routine. Now, this can be whatever works for you, but I think that there is nothing better than starting your day off with positive vibes. That can mean different things, like I said, but for me personally, I have a quite rigid prayer and meditation routine in the morning. Now, this can look like different things to different people, but for me personally, I have like a quite strict morning routine, and I will get up quite early in the morning, depending on what time I'm intending to start work that day. But it could be anything as early from like 6:30 to maybe 7. It really, really depends on kind of what I plan on doing that day. And I will get up. I will not look at my phone. I won't even look at my messages or anything like that. It's only been recently I've introduced. So I meditate in the mornings, and I used to just do like self-meditation. So that's just like literally kind of just like quietening my mind and having kind of like my incense and my candles and just kind of getting into my own zone. But it's recently I've introduced guided meditation. So I use an app called Calm that my workplace kind of gave to us all. So I use that and I listen to a lot of the meditation practices on that app. So that's the only reason why I've now actually been touching my phone in the mornings. But prior to that, I didn't even touch my phone. I literally would get up, set myself up for my meditation and prayer, and I would go straight into it. So I will meditate, I will pray, I will also kind of write down and say the things that I'm grateful for. Could be anything, could be something that's happened that week or just life in general, or my family or my friends. I'll pray for people around me as well. So I pray for myself, but I'll pray for people around me. There might be people in my life who maybe going through things, or maybe I'm just thinking of them, or sometimes when I'm meditating, certain people just come to mind, so I'll pray for them. And then I will journal. So right after I've meditated and I've prayed, I journal. So the things that sort of came to my mind during my meditation session or my prayer session, and write that down. And it's really good because it's like a good way of me reflecting on things each day. And I will also write down a affirmation for the day. So like, I don't know, today's going to be a good day, or today is going to be productive, or, you know, today will be blessed. Like whatever it is, just some kind of a positive affirmation. Yeah. And I write that down. I then will write what I want to get out of the day, whether it's finishing certain tasks at work or tidying up or whatever it is. I then will read a few pages of one of my favorite books. So recently I've been reading The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's one of my favorite books of all time. In fact, I'm actually going to do a little mini book review on this book, because when I say this book is life-changing, it's life-changing. And a lot of the principles in this book help add to my productivity levels just because of, anyway, I don't want to spoil the book review. But yeah, for those that have read it, you know why this is a dope book. If you haven't read it, 100% check it out. But I'm definitely going to do a video specifically about it. So I'll read a few pages of that. Sometimes it might be a different book depending on how I'm feeling, but recently this is the one that I've been reading. I'll also go into my Bible app and I will read some plans. Like they've got like different plans for different things. So if you're feeling anxious, if you're lacking productivity, if you're feeling, they've got Bible plans for that. So I will read whatever devotional that they've got for that day. I will then do some kind of exercise, whether it's like just a quick mini workout or some yoga. I'll do that. And that's my morning routine, guys. I know it sounds like very lengthy, like how do you, but actually when you actually break it up in time, all of that doesn't take me more than like 40 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour at a push, but it doesn't take too long, basically. And to be honest, it's really worthwhile and beneficial. And because I've started my day off in that way, I've kind of committed myself to having a good day, and I've committed myself to having a productive day. Like no matter what happens or whatever distractions come my way, said like, yeah, this is kind of how my day is going to go because I've declared it. And I'm a true believer in like manifesting like what you want and positive affirmations and all of that. So yeah, I feel like once I've done that, my day, like no matter what happens, even if I have a relatively not so good day, because I've started my day off in that way, that's already kind of given me a huge head start in terms of being productive. Because it just gives me a real buzz. It gives me a real sense of like, yeah, you can do this, Shay. Like you've got this. I don't know, that's just what it does for me. You don't have to do all of those things, but I would strongly recommend having something that you do in the morning, even if it's a workout, even if you don't want to meditate, you don't want to pray, you don't want to journal, you don't want to do any of that. But I think even if it's just a workout, something to get your adrenaline pumping, something to get your brain working and make you feel really active. Because I think naturally when we wake up in the morning, if you roll out of bed and then start work, you're already feeling a bit sluggish. You're already not as alert as you probably should be. But I really find like if you have something that you do in the morning that kind of gets your brain working a little bit, kind of gets you feeling a bit more awake, that makes a huge difference. And the same thing in terms of like a good kind of wind down routine in the evening. So for me, when it gets to a certain time, when I know it's approaching bedtime, my phone goes away. I like, you know, wash my face. If I want to meditate again, I might do. Not always, but sometimes I might. I have like this kind of lavender pillow spray that I got from Rituals, and I spray that on my pillow. I just love it. I love the smell of lavender, and I'm an aromatherapy junkie. Anything that like home fragrance, candles, all of that, that's all my bag. I love all of that stuff because again, I feel like that helps my productivity. It makes me feel good when I'm smelling good things around me, if that makes sense. So I have that, and yeah, when it gets to a certain time, I just kind of just switch off away from my phone, maybe do some reading, maybe just chill on the sofa, whatever it is, but I kind of cut my phone off at a certain time so that my phone isn't the last thing that I've done before I've gone to sleep. So that's kind of how my morning and evening routine works. I really think it helps having that and having one that's consistent as well, because it kind of gives you a little bit of a buzz of energy because you've got something to kind of look forward to in the morning and in the evening when you're winding things down, maybe like run yourself a nice bath, whatever it is that you want to do. So that's pretty much my morning and evening routine. I would strongly recommend that. My next tip to help with increasing productivity is get off your damn phone. You see this thing, yeah? This thing, oh my gosh. when I say this is like the peak of my procrastination, because a lot of the time, you know, when you don't really want to do something or you've got something to do and you'll just find yourself picking up your phone and just scrolling aimlessly. If you guys watch that Social Dilemma on Netflix, you see those example people that they gave, like that they were showing. That's me. In fact, it's me. I'm one of them. I am 100% like one of their objects, because I'm definitely somebody who, if I see a notification or if something pops up on my phone, I'm like, oh, what's that? And I'm like quick to want to reply and all of that kind of stuff. But honestly, this phone is a huge distraction. And I think for me, what's really helped is during set periods when I know that I need to be productive, whether it's that I'm at work and I'm doing something that I know I need to focus on, whatever it is, I will put my phone, if I have to put it on the other side of the room, in a different room, I'll do what I got to do. I've switched my notifications off my phone now anyway, so I don't get notifications to my phone anymore, notifying me of any like updates from any of my apps. I've switched them all off. So I would have to actually go into the apps to see if somebody's messaged me on WhatsApp, for example, or on Instagram, etc. But again, that's made a huge difference, because then it's like, when it's like out of sight, out of mind. So when I'm not seeing the notifications, I forget about the apps, if that makes sense. So it's like I have to go out of my way to actually see it. That's made a huge difference as well. But I can't stress how distracting phones are. And a lot of it is because a lot of the time we are not really wanting to do whatever other tasks are. So it's easier to pick up the phone and scroll and message and do this. But there's a time for everything. And for me, if I'm like at work or whatever, I put my phone far away, so that it's like I'll have to go out of my way to get my phone. And like, if I keep doing that, then it's like, okay, no, you've actually got a problem. You can't be getting up to get your phone to do nothing. So yeah, I would say 100% minimize the amount of time that you spend on your phone. Another thing that I do that helps with my overall productivity is having like a checklist of tasks that I need to do. So whether that is in my personal life or at work. So at work, I use Trello. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but you basically can create like Kanban boards. So you have like lists, and you have like to do, you have in progress, and you have done. And you can create lists of everything that's happening basically. And you kind of move it across as and when you've reached whatever it is. So for example, if I've put something in my to-do, once I've started it, I put it in progress, and once I have finished it, I then move it to completed. And for me, that really, really helped. I don't know why, but mentally for me, it also helps, because a lot of the time I used to just operate from memory, as crazy as that sounds. Like I would kind of know what I need to do in my head, but then you get to a place where that just gets so discombobulated in your head. Like you just feel like everything is all over the place. You don't feel like you've really got a good handle over the task that you need to do. So for me, having everything laid out in that way really helps me, because it's like I can literally see what I'm currently working on, what I need to work on, what I should prioritize. And then when I've done it, it's such a good feeling just to move it into that completed. And then also, when you look at what I do as well, is I keep everything that I've completed is still there. So I can often look at it and be like, wow, like look how much I've actually done, especially on certain days where it feels like you haven't got as much done. But then when you look at your completed, you're like, oh, I've actually done quite a bit. It might not have felt like it, but I have. And that in itself gives you a little bit of a boost, which again kind of makes you feel like you want to be more productive, because you realize you've actually got more done than you thought you did. So having that, like having some kind of a checklist that you can track based on the things that you need to do, the things that you're currently doing, and then the things that you've done, that makes a huge difference for me. Some people like to be old-fashioned about it and write pen to paper. To be honest, I like writing as well. So I sometimes still write things in my notebook. Even though I've got my Trello board, I still write things in my notebook that I need to do. Especially like my own like personal kind of tasks, I often find myself writing that down. But I would say whichever way works for you, but definitely having something that you can physically see that breaks down the things that you need to do. So then that way it just doesn't feel like this big thing in your head. Like it's like, because it can really weigh on top of you as well when you've got it all in your head. But then if you get it all out either on paper or on your laptop or whatever, and you can see it, and then once you can see it, you can work through it. And then once you work through it as well, it gives you that boost that, okay, you're getting stuff done, and then you want to get more stuff done. So it's a win-win for me. But yeah, I would strongly recommend having some kind of checklist of your outstanding tasks. Another thing I would recommend is to avoid having like heavy meals late at night. Now with me, I'm the kind of person, like I'll eat any time of the day. And I'm actually quite bad in that I don't have like set things that, you know how some people, they will only eat certain things for breakfast. Like I'm the kind of person, I can eat rice and stew for breakfast. Like, I don't care. Like, for me, breakfast is just food. Like, whatever I feel like eating, I'll eat. So because of that, I've developed, like, sometimes over time, I've developed quite bad eating habits that I'll eat whatever I want, when I want, literally, like, at any time. So I found, like, I was either working, if I'm working a bit late or I'm busy in the evening, I end up eating a lot later in the day. And if my dinner is quite heavy, let's say it's like, I don't know, like red meat or anything like quite heavy, and I'm eating that at like 8, 9 p.m, of course, there's not really that opportunity for the food to really digest itself. So I go to bed feeling sluggish, and I wake up with that sluggish kind of undigested food feeling. And honestly, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I find, like, if I'm eating heavy meals very late into the evening, it affects me when I want to wake up in the morning. I struggle to wake up. Like, I just feel sluggish and heavy. So because of that, I kind of bring that into my day, and my day feels less productive because I just feel sluggish from the night before. So I would say, like, if you can avoid having heavy meals, obviously, like, have your dinners, like, you know, indulge, because I'm not going to be that YouTuber that tells you, like, don't eat this, that, and the other, because me, I'll eat whatever I want. Nobody can tell me nothing. But I think the timings of when you eat are important, because I have noticed that the later into the day that I eat, especially a heavy meal, I will feel it the next day. And I feel quite lazy and sluggish throughout the day. So if you can avoid that, I would 100% recommend it. Another thing I would recommend is making sure that you create time for self-care during the week. Self-care can look like different things to different people, whether it's that you are painting your nails, running a bath, doing a facial, going for a run, watching your favorite TV program, whatever it is. Don't get too caught up in being so productive that you don't set time aside to do something nice for yourself. Because I think also having that self-care routine helps in the sense that it gives you something to look forward to throughout the week. So, for example, if you're having a really busy week and there's lots going on, you know at the back of your mind that, oh, okay, cool, Friday night, I'm going to get the wine out, I'm going to run myself a nice bath, I'm going to do my facial, I'm going to, like, binge watch my favorite TV program, whatever it is. You kind of have that in the back of your mind, and that kind of gives you a bit of a motivation to keep going. And equally, once you do that particular self-care routine, again, it leaves you feeling quite refreshed, and you feel like, oh, okay. And you can enjoy it as well, because you know that you've had a productive week. You can really enjoy it because you're not feeling guilty that you've still got X, Y, Z to do. So I would 100% say, like, have some kind of a self-care routine in the week. It doesn't have to be anything big. It can be something small, as literally just pouring yourself a glass of wine on a Friday, because boy, that definitely is my self-care routine, or one of mine. So yeah, whatever it is that you have that gives you something to look forward to, gives you an energy refresh almost, and kind of gets you pumped for the next week ahead, I would say definitely implement that into your week. Make sure that you're creating time for yourself during the week. It's very, very important. Another tip I would give is to try and find time to read. Reading is so mentally stimulating. There's a really stimulating feeling about getting into a really good book. Like, I love reading. I try to create enough time for it, whether it's through my Kindle app or physical books. I try and make sure that I'm reading something, even if it's not necessarily a book. Maybe there's articles that you want to read online, or research you want to do, or like something. But I think, like, taking time to just read, it kind of stimulates your brain, it stimulates your mind, keeps your juices flowing, gets you engaged in something. And in turn, that mental stimulation will also kind of transfer over to whatever other tasks you're doing in your life or at work that can kind of, again, get your juices flowing, get your brain pumping. I think it all kind of goes hand in hand. I think creating time to read and research something new, again, like, you know, maximizing your knowledge in some capacity, all of that kind of will help kind of give you that, what's the word I'm looking for? All of that will kind of help give you that boost of, like, just feeling mentally stimulated. So I would 100% say, if you can find time to do some reading, definitely do it. Another thing I would recommend is to take regular breaks, particularly when you're doing quite heavy tasks or lengthy tasks. Try and take breaks in between. It's really important. Sometimes I think, like, with me, I have this very bang it out approach, like, yeah, let me just bang it out for like 2-3 hours and then done, don't have to think about it again. But then 15-20 minutes into the task, I'm already thinking, oh God, I'm already looking for a distraction almost. But I think, again, it's like, if you kind of start feeling like that, when it gets to that sort of 15, 20 minute, 30-minute window, just kind of pause, step away from the screen for a little bit, go and have a snack or a drink or something, and then come back and look at it again with fresh eyes, and then keep going and listen to your body. Like, if you have moments where you feel like you need to take a break, maybe your eyes are hurting you, maybe you're getting a bit of a headache, stop, pause, come back to it. You're not going to be productive if you're kind of like forcing yourself to like push through certain tasks because you don't want to feel like you're stopping, if that makes sense. Because trust me, I'm a very bang it out person, or that's how I've been, but I've found that I've been way more productive when I stop to take regular breaks in between what it is I'm doing, and come back to it with fresh eyes. That even helps, because when I'm staring at something for so long and I don't feel like I'm making headway with it, I kind of stop. I'm like, okay, I just need to go and look at something else. Then I come back, and then it doesn't look as bad as it did before, or that particular task doesn't seem as complicated as it did before, or certain ideas might come to me that didn't come to me before. So 100% make sure that you're taking like regular breaks in between whatever it is that you're doing. And my last tip would be to make sure that you are surrounding yourself with positive energy. And I know people say stuff like this all the time, but I think we really underestimate how much energy can have an impact on our mindset and our productivity levels. If you're surrounding yourself with people who are constantly complaining, constantly like lazing around, or constantly kind of looking for excuses to not do things, constantly procrastinating, you're naturally going to kind of pick up some of those vibes, whether you like it or not. Because you might think, oh, that person's like not bothering to do their work. You know what? Yeah, why not? Why don't I do the same? And I'm not saying like everyone's so easily impressionable, but I'm saying sometimes we can really pick up other people's energy. If you've got people that are constantly complaining to you about work, constantly complaining about certain aspects of their lives, you will take that on in some capacity, whether you realize it or not. And that in itself can affect your productivity in general. So I think it's important to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with positive energy, whether that's with the people around you, whether that's with the information that you allow to kind of be consumed in your life via social media or TV or whatever it is, but just ensuring that you are kind of making sure that you're keeping positive vibes at all times, or as much as you possibly can, I think will make a huge difference on your overall productivity levels. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much how I try to maintain productivity in terms of the things I do or my approach to things. Let me know what some of your top tips are for keeping productive, especially throughout this pandemic and working from home, etc. I'd love to hear it. I'm open to hearing other people's ideas because, yeah, I need all the help I can get. So yeah, please do leave your comments below and let me know what you thought of the video, and let me know what your top tips are. But yeah, until the next video, guys.